Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about 3 lessons that my dad taught me. If you're new to the channel, my name is Stanley, and here we talk about growth, mindset, and hope. If you were like me, your dad was never fully present, and I'm sure more for some than for others. For example, my dad was there. I'm not saying that my dad wasn't there. I just want to get that straight. It was just as we started to grow up, we saw him less and less because he started to get involved with some things that we didn't necessarily like and wasn't good for the family. I just felt like he missed a lot of really developmental times for me and my siblings. I think it affected us in a negative way, but this video is not to point at the negative things, it's to point at the positive things that I got out of the negativity that may have come from that. So here are 3 lessons that my dad taught me and how I've interpreted it to apply to my life today. The first lesson was to never turn your back on the ocean. There's a story of my dad and I at the ocean, and I believe I was standing on some reef or next to the ocean, and I turned around and my dad told me, "Hey, don't turn your back on the ocean," for obvious reasons, obviously. But my interpretation for that piece of advice was to never let your guard down. Be aware. Be ready. You know, life hits us with crazy things sometimes, and we don't usually know how to respond. Prepare for what's to come. That's kind of what I took away, and I cherish that story for lots of reasons. Obviously because it's a memory of my dad, but it is important to see the positive sides of these things, because if we look at things just negatively all the time, it's gonna just make life harder, and nobody wants that. Never turn your back on the ocean. Number 2, this one is kind of intense. My dad picked me up from home or for wherever we were at, and we were in his truck, and I remember him pulling something out of the middle compartment of his truck. He noticed that I saw it, and he looks at me and he says, "Son, don't do what I do." My interpretation of that is don't always copy what you see. Not all things in life are good. When I was younger, it was not really something easy to kind of comprehend because I didn't know what was going on. When I saw that happening, in my mind I was thinking one thing, but who knows how I really interpreted it at the time. But how I want to apply to my life today is don't always copy things that you see. Not all things in life are good. As we live life, the way I learned most things in my life was by watching people do stuff. I'm a very visual learner, and I need to see something done in front of me. And this really impacted me, especially for you visual learners out there. This really impacted me to see how important it is to pick and choose what you're learning and what you're taking away from people. Take things with a grain of salt. Take things piece by piece, dissect it for yourself, and really research it for yourself, whether or not you should be going down that path, or whether or not it's a good idea to copy whatever you're watching or whatever you're intaking. Just be careful. That's kind of how I view it. So the third life lesson is dive as deep as you can. I remember we were in the ocean, and we used to swim in the ocean all the time when we were younger, and in the river. And if you never grew up with water or being in the ocean, in Hawaii, there's lots of places where there's decently sized shore breaks, especially for kids. There's waves coming in, and as the wave comes, it smashes down, and there's lots of whitewash or white water coming your way. That's a lot of force and a lot of water just pushing and pressure against you. The only way to avoid that is, 1, you can either jump over, which is very highly unlikely, unless you're standing on the ground and you can jump over the wave after it crashes. But the real way you should be doing it is you dive as deep as you can down under the wave, and as the wave crashes, you can come up on the other side. This is a very normal way for people to surfers to duck dive, bodyboarders to duck dive, or swimmers to dive underneath the force, and you can come up on the other side safe. And my dad told me that when you're out here, make sure when the wave comes, you dive as deep as you can. My interpretation of this is whatever you do, go all in. In the ocean, it's a life or death situation, especially if you're not a very good swimmer, or even if you are a good swimmer, the ocean is a strong and powerful place, and you shouldn't play with it. How I apply this to my life is that the ocean is life, and me diving down underneath life is me diving into the things that I love, diving into the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm trying to pursue. Whatever you do, dive as deep as you can. You want to dive deep. Whatever you do, go all in. Don't hold back. And this is something that's really stuck to me, and I hope it can resonate with you. I'm not sure if these points resonate with you, or is it's just a personal thing, but I want to, like I said, apply these things to my life these negative things and change them into positive things that hopefully that you can take something away. Because it's important to me and I believe that it can be of value to you. So this is why I'm sharing this video with you today. So remember, never turning your back on the ocean. Don't do what I do and dive as deep as you can. Unfortunately, my dad wasn't around as much as I wanted him to be there. And maybe that's your story and maybe that's what you're dealing with right now. But I want to encourage you, even if you see that there's a negative light in your situation, there's always a way you can pull positives out of it. And there's always a way that you can change your perspective and shift your angle on, hey, this is what it may look like at face value, but you can actually see it like this. We can put our own interpretation on things, the stories, the lessons that we got from our parents, our guardians, our dad, and change them to have a positive impact in our life. And it all comes down to you. It's your choice. If this video impacted you or resonated with you in any way, please share this with other people. I believe that this video has value to bring to the people around us as we sometimes feel hopeless and sometimes feel like we're stuck. I want to say that you can really change your perspective and you can actually look at things in a more positive light, even when your situation may be negative. Also, if you enjoyed this video, here's another video that you can watch. I think it'll bring you value as well. Thanks for watching. Love you all, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.